All right, so ready to dive into some financial statements with me today?
Always up for a good balance sheet deep dive.
Well, today we're focusing on Tesla. We're going to take a look at their income statement, specifically from 2020 to 2023.
Interesting time frame. A lot's happened with Tesla, even just the past few years.
Exactly. We'll even do a quick peek at the trailing 12 months just to see what's what, the usual suspects, revenue, those pesky expenses.
Don't forget taxes.
Oh, right. And how could we forget about Tesla and those curious negative taxes? Let's get into it.
Yeah, Tesla's financials are like a mirror to the whole EV industry's journey, wouldn't you say?
How so?
Well, you've got this crazy fast growth, a couple of bumps here and there.
Yeah.
But man, the potential.
So much potential.
To really get where they might be going, we got to see where they've been, right?
Okay, numbers time. First up, revenue. Between 2020 and 2023, Tesla's revenue went, it skyrocketed from $31.5 billion to $96.8 billion.
Wow. That's in what, just 3 years?
Yep, that's a pretty significant jump.
It really shows how demand for EVs just exploded, but
Yeah.
we got to be real about the competition heating up too, right? Tesla's not the only game in town anymore.
Definitely not.
In fact, their revenue for the trailing 12 months actually dipped a bit, down to $95.3 billion.
Interesting. So the question is, can they keep up this momentum as more players enter the game?
A question for the ages.
Right. And that kind of leads us to our next thing, expenses. To handle all this growth, Tesla's been spending more too. We're talking their cost of revenue, the cost tied directly to actually building those EVs. That number jumped from, get this, $24.9 billion in 2020
Hold on. To how much in 2023?
to a whopping $79.1 billion.
Okay, yeah, that's a jump. And you can't forget R&D. It's got to be a huge chunk, right?
Huge is right. Research and development, that's really the heart of their future plans, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a peek behind the curtain. Tells you where they're putting their money, where they're betting on the future.
And they've more than doubled their R&D spending since 2020, hitting, get this, $4.5 billion in the trailing 12 months.
Okay, so they're not messing around. They're serious about innovation.
Serious is an understatement. But they're making more money, spending more money. Which brings us to,
The bottom line.
exactly, profit. After all that, what's left?
So it's kind of mixed, honestly. Their gross profit, that's the profit after they sell those cars, but before all the other expenses that peaked in 2022.
Yeah.
$20.9 billion. Then it dipped a bit in the trailing 12 months, down to $16.9 billion.
A dip in profit, that always makes people nervous.
Sure. But a dip after such a huge peak doesn't always spell disaster.
That's true. So to really see how healthy Tesla's profits are, we got to look at their operating income.
Exactly. That's the profit from their main operations before you factor in things like taxes.
Taxes, right. So hit us with that operating income. What are we looking at?
All right, so in 2022, they hit a pretty impressive $13.8 billion. But then, in the trailing 12 months, down to $7.2 billion.
Yeah.
Reflecting those ups and downs we've been talking about.
Okay, so we've got rising revenue, spending that's up, profits that are a bit all over the place, but still positive.
Right, but there's that one thing, that head scratcher.
Oh, you mean the negative taxes?
Exactly. How do they get money back from taxes?
Yeah.
In 2023 and in these past trailing 12 months, they're actually getting paid by the government.
It does seem kind of strange when you put it like that.
Yeah, but it's not unheard of, actually. It comes down to those tax benefits and credits companies can claim.
Right, those things. So how does this play into Tesla's overall financial strategy? Are they just playing the system?
It could be strategic, for sure. Minimizing their tax burden, maybe using losses from previous years to offset their profits.
Interesting.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Helps us understand their financial moves. It's like a chess game.
It really is.
I mean, it's crazy, right? They're not just building cars, they're building the future.
Right. We talked about their R&D spending earlier, but what exactly are they spending those billions on, and what does it tell us about their long game?
Their battery tech is huge GE.
Makes sense. Batteries are.
Everything. They know that whoever figures out cheaper, better, longer lasting batteries
They win.
wins the whole EV game.
Bold move.
That's
Risky too, right? I mean, R&D, you never know what you're going to get.
Totally. Some projects are going to be home runs, some will be, well,
Strikeouts.
exactly. And then there's the whole competition angle.
Yes, the competition. Who are the big names Tesla needs to be watching, and how are they approaching the electric car revolution?
You've got the big guns, the Volkswagens of the world, going all in on electric.
The old guard, huh?
Right. But they've got the manufacturing power, the supply chains. That's a real threat to Tesla.
Like, they're not just figuring it out, they already know how to make cars.
Exactly. But it's not just them. Then you've got the upstarts.
Oh, right, the startups, the ones getting all the hype.
Exactly. Companies like Rivian, they're making waves, especially with the electric trucks, the SUVs.
Right now.
And they're attracting a ton of investment. Tesla can't just ignore them.
So it's like pressure from all sides, the big guys and even the new kids. How's Tesla responding to all of this?
They're fighting back on all fronts. They're expanding their product lineup. You've got the Model 3, right? More affordable.
Oh, get those cars to the masses.
Exactly. Wider customer base. And they're going global, building factories all over. China, Germany.
Wow. So more cars, bigger reach.
Domination. World domination.
You can't forget about those negative taxes, though, right?
Hey,
How does that fit into the strategy, especially with all this competition?
it's all part of the plan, man. Remember those tax breaks, government incentives, all that?
Right.
Tesla's playing that game like a fiddle. Offsetting costs, boosting those profits so they can reinvest,
Yeah.
all while keeping their prices competitive.
It's like financial chess or something.
100%. And then there's the whole, the economy. It's a bit of a mess out there.
True. Interest rates going up, inflation. Doesn't that impact, like, everyone, not just Tesla?
No, absolutely. Those are headwinds everyone's dealing with. Higher interest rates mean it's pricier to borrow money, which could make it tougher for Tesla to do all that expanding, all that investing in new stuff.
Makes sense.
And inflation, that means their costs go up too, right? Materials, everything could really eat into those profits we were talking about.
So Tesla's got a lot on their plate, cutthroat competition, big growth plans, and this crazy economy.
What's the forecast look like?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It all hinges on their ability to keep innovating, to change with the market, and ride out these economic storms.
It's like they're sailing in uncharted waters. They really are.
Yeah.
It's not just about the cars, is it?
Huh?
It's bigger than that.
Way bigger. Building a future, like you said. But, as we've seen, a lot of uncertainty on that road.
For sure. Makes you think, what are the big takeaways here? After looking at all this, the income statement, everything else, what should our listeners keep in mind? Well, I think the biggest thing is Tesla's success. It all comes back to those batteries.
Makes sense. It's
They're
like
bread and butter.
more like the engine, right?
Right, yeah. But whoever figures out this whole battery puzzle, how to make them cheaper, more efficient, greener, they win.
It's like, ooh, who's going to be the king of the battery?
Exactly. And the second thing, we can't forget about the competition. Those big car companies, those startups, they're all coming for Tesla.
It's a dogfight out there.
Totally. Can Tesla keep their spot at the top while also, growing into these new areas? It's a tough question.
And then, of course, the economy, right? Like we were talking about, those interest rates, inflation. How's Tesla going to handle all that?
It's a wild card, for sure.
Yeah.
Tesla needs to be smart. You got to adapt.
Roll with the punches.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It really is. So it sounds like Tesla's story. It's not finished yet.
Not even close. This is just the beginning.
A lot of ambition, a lot of innovation. It's exciting. So for our listeners who want to dive deeper into all this, what should they be looking at?
Go beyond the headlines. Don't just read the articles. Dig into what's happening in the EV world. Battery tech, especially.
Yeah, those battery breakthroughs.
Exactly. See who's doing